Oh, here he is, dear little dog. Looking for them, they're waiting for them to throw the ball, and he'd go tearing off to get it. If you can see that eagerness, or qui vive. So he used to climb the trees. He did. And the boys at school wouldn't believe him, so they came. About 3 or 4 of them came with him. One afternoon, I can see them all standing under the back tree, and there's Rex going up the tree to get the ball. Not very far up, quite, but about 6 feet. Get up there and get the ball. He was tiny. He was a cross between Chihuahua, C-H-I-H-U-A, Chihuahua, H-U-A-H-U-A. Chihuahua, a tiny dog, and a fox terrier. A miniature fox terrier. And it was a wonderful cross. Oh, it was marvellous. The nature, such a lovely nature.
And Rex was really something. He used to belong to the dean, they lived at the house was next door to us, and I can remember going to a early morning communion service in the sort of side chapel in the cathedral, and Dad was sort of being server for the dean who was taking communion service. And at some point, Rex managed to get into the cathedral and discovered the dean, absolutely delighted to see the dean, and kept sort of prancing around the dean. So Dad would try to catch him. So the dean was going on taking the service, and Dad would sort of dart to one side to grab Rex, who would then dart to the other side. And there was a little bit of sort of backwards and forwards. Eventually, Dad got hold of him, took him out of the cathedral, shut him out, and the service went on, and then a little while later, Rex was back again. I don't know how he found his way in. So and then I think the dean decided that Rex was just too energetic for him, and they gave him to Rick, and that's how we acquired Rex.
And the famous Rex. He used to play cricket with us on the back lawn, which was a favourite game, and the whole family and visitors and so on would all be there, and Rex would do all the fielding. Didn't matter where you hit the ball, Rex would go and get it and bring it back. But after about half an hour of cricket in the hot, humid summer Grafton, Rex would decide that he needed to cool off. So he and the ball would go down into the river. He'd sit in the river with the ball. When he'd cooled off, he'd bring it back and the game continued. But he made sure he took the ball so that we didn't go on. He was obsessive with the ball. We'd place it up trees and he'd climb trees to get it down. And of course you've heard that you could throw it over the house and he'd race around the house after you'd thrown it and catch it on the first bounce.
This thing which distressed me, that he'd pretend to throw the ball over the house, right over the house, and Rex would go racing around, and meanwhile it either hadn't been thrown or it had been thrown so it had bounced back off the roof onto the grass. And poor Rex had come racing round again, but he wasn't deterred. He'd find it anyway. And of course there was Rick and Rex. Richard, we always called him Richard, of course, all this time. We didn't call him Rick. Richard and Rex, and they were a pair. And this...
He was a handsome young man, wasn't he?
So, and the one at Grafton with Rick and Rex, I cannot understand why I'm holding the guitar because Rick really was the guitarist. I just strummed a few chords. Playing cricket, of course, Rex was really Rick's dog, and Rex did most of the fielding, and when he got too tired, he'd go down to the river, take the ball with him so we couldn't go on playing, and then he'd even take it out into the river so that he could cool off. If he left it on the bank, then we might start playing with the ball, so he took it out to the river, cooled off, came back, brought it all the way back up, and then he took himself when he got back to us, and nobody was very keen to use the tennis ball because it was rather soggy thing.